What's up, YouTube? How y'all doing today? Today's video, we're back with another National Preparedness Month 2025. This is day number 10, and today's video is situational awareness. We did the last one was area study. Area study kind of and situational awareness kind of are related and similar. I mean, not the same, but situational awareness is it's very important that we have situational awareness. And it's kind of like an area study. Area study, you go, you know your area, you know your neighbors, you're familiar with the area, you know the ways in and out of town. You're always driving through. Like me, I always take back roads and neighborhood streets and go not just because I don't like the main roads. I mean, there's only a couple actual like main busy roads, but for one, I stay off of them because they're always so freaking busy that you know that's the one main street in town, so everybody's driving on that road. But I take back roads. Not only that, to just kind of check out the neighborhood. Check out, we just moved again. We moved a lot. That's another video for another time. But we just moved again, and we're in the same town. We just moved to into a different house in the same town, but it's a lot nicer house. But you know, again, different story for a different time. But situational awareness is a little bit different. It's more of like you're more of your all the time, every day, where you're at, where you're standing right now. Like if you're walking into a bank to make a deposit or whatever, and just look around. Look around, notice people. You know, don't just sit there with your face in your phone or your earbuds in so you can't hear. Maybe one, but just just pay attention to where you're at. Walk into you're walking into a place like again like your bank. Most banks, if they're just a bank, if it's not like in a store or something, but if it's like an actual bank, a lot of them have a back exit you can zip out of real quick. If you see or hear somebody coming in, you can dart out and you can get away and not have to worry about it. But and like at a restaurant, like what I'll try to do at a restaurant is I'll try and sit where I'm facing the door, where I'm facing the main entrance to that way if I see something coming, I can see it coming usually before it even comes in the door. It's just a way that I can maybe have a little head start on preventing something or acting, because if they come in my back, I can't see it, and then I don't know where they're at. I don't know. But if I'm, and just look around, watch people. If you can listen to people, I try not to put earbuds in because I like to hear what people are saying, hear people's conversations, just eavesdrop. Whether that sounds like I'm a creeper or whatever, but just like to listen to what people are saying. You can get a lot of good information off of gossip. People gossiping. You get a lot of cool, a lot of good info. About people, about places, about things, about the area, about just whatever. About people's views on life. If they're sitting there talking politics, who they're their political views. If they're talking about whatever, you kind of get to know people, and that's also the area study. That's why I said they're kind of related. You're kind of learning your neighbors, you're learning, but there's also that, like I said, situational. Be aware of your surroundings. Always be on the alert. Always be on the lookout for that threat. Times are getting rough out there, and you never know when something's going to happen. When something's going to hit, and just be, and we want as few victims as possible when something does happen. I mean, you if something happens, you may not save them all, and innocent people die, and that's the problem. Is people these shootings, these mass shootings, school shootings, stuff like that. When no one's expecting it, most of them are gun-free zones. They come in with people end up, innocent people, you know, innocent people die, and it really sucks. But if you have your situational awareness, we can keep those numbers down to a very minimum. I mean, any is too much, but you know, 5 dead is better than 10 dead. I know that may sound bad, but none. not a single one is acceptable, and we need to try and make it as close to that number as humanly possible. And situational awareness is how you're going to get there. A lot of people don't talk much about situational awareness, but it's one of the more important things that you've got to have. And if you're going to carry a gun, and if you're one of those into the world SHTF people, it's you've got to have your situational awareness. You can't just carry a gun and boom, okay, I got a gun, cool, we're good. Somebody comes along, I'm gonna shoot them. It doesn't work that way. Things happen so fast that you know somebody walks in with an assault rifle, as they say, as they call them, and just starts boom, 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 boom. By the time you could react, there could already be three, four, five of them gone, and you're just barely like, oh, what do I do? And you got so you got to be situational aware. If you can, the more aware you are of your situation, of where you are, who's around you, the quicker you can spot the threat, the better everybody around you is. And you know, hopefully there's plenty of other good guys around you that are also situationally aware that they can jump in and you can knock it out together. But anyway, situational awareness. These videos are kind of short. I did a series on these last year and they did okay, but I want to kind of keep these short. These are just supposed to be quick little videos. I'm trying to do one a day. So this is day number 10. So just anyway, love you, appreciate it. Be situational aware of your surroundings at all times. Don't just sit there with your. I mean, if you do, if you want to make it look like you're not paying attention, that's always good too. But then you look like a victim if you're not. If you're pretending to not be paying attention. Those are the people they prey on, are the ones that have their faces in their phones, or those ones that are just walking, looking at the ground and not really looking around. See, those are the targets. Don't be a target. Maybe I should do one on that too. Don't be a target. How to not be a target. But anyway, appreciate y'all. Love you. See you in the next one. See you tomorrow. Do the YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, comment, share. You know the stuff. I don't have to. But anyway, appreciate y'all. National Preparedness Month. We'll see you in the next one.